everybody, and welcome to Ask the Anabolic Doc, starring Dr. Thomas O'Connor, brought to you by his websites, metabolicdoc.com and anabolicdoc.com, both of which you can get this amazing book, America on Steroids, A Time to Heal. It is also available on Amazon.com. If you're going to get it for stocking stuff or whatever, hurry your asses up because Christmas is right around the damn corner.
Yep. And Hanukkah's over. You missed it.
I know. Well, hopefully they didn't miss it if they were celebrating.
True.
10 days. Before we get into today's topic, I did want to clear up something. Last week we did a show about speculating, theorizing what brain cancer, various types of cancer and the links. And I did receive some messages from people who knew the gentleman we were talking about. They were upset because they thought we were implying in some way that he had brought upon himself this horrible situation with the cancer, the tumors. And I thought we were very careful to say we don't know, we have no idea what that gentleman has used, and certainly if there's any direct link between anything he may or may not have used and what happened. So I'm taking the opportunity to apologize to any friends or family of Isaac Galvidal, and hopefully, did not mean to offend or upset anybody. We just thought it was a discussion need to be had. His picture was used, so people made that link too, but no harm was meant. We never want to imply anything of that sort. We wish him the very best. And I put up, he's on GoFundMe, so I put a thread up on MD to please help him out. He's a father of a young child, and medical expenses are staggering. He has no health insurance. So anyway, just want to get that out of the way.
And I agree, Ron. I mean, and I feel bad too. I saw that too. And I thought we were very clear that this is no indication of that he's using these agents. And I always preface that and disclaimer that it's always disclaimer. But apart from him, it's a good opportunity to discuss what may happen from these agents, and that's all we did.
Right. And a lot of the backlash on the forums, on the YouTube comments on the Muscular Development forum was from people who they do use growth hormone, insulin, and IGF-1, and they were, obviously denial is a huge thing. We all like to think that nothing bad is ever going to happen to us, and if it does, it certainly wouldn't be of our own doing. And they don't. I can't help but think they're taking a little bit of that, misdirecting some of their anger or their displeasure at the fact that they can't feel safe. Nobody using growth hormone or insulin or IGF-1, I don't think anyone with a sane mind would feel 100% comfortable that it's never going to lead to any serious health problems or any type of cancer. And they say, cancer, it only accelerates cancer growth if you have cancer in your body, but is there any kind of figure?
Ron, no. But John, it's just crazy, and and the haters are going to hate, and that's everyone understands that. And if you look at our show, we're doing great, and and we're never going to it's never going to be free of the hate. But this is a democracy, this show, right? So we just keep it there. You don't remove anything, and the truth is, level-minded guys that include men, millions of them, that use steroids and enjoy steroids, they're worried. I mean, you gotta be, come on, Ron, you gotta be worried. And even steroids cause medical, no one's gonna argue, steroids don't cause hair loss and acne and puffiness, gynecomastia, and they also, the cardiac stuff, they definitely do. And then is it worth it to start using the blocking agents and where's the data? Well, the data's there. The data for steroids is there. No one can argue that. Right. Now, as far as how this guy's living, he's 45, he's 50. Look at this guy. He's retired. He's great, and that's great. I mean, so the interesting piece is, no one's dropped dead. At least famous guys in the last, since Dallas and Rich. But I mean, come on, Ron. You should see the stuff. The bodies walking into my clinic this week. Again, I love what I do, what I've created, and I'm ready to rock. It's fun. You should see the guys coming in. It's all for me, cardiac disease, enlarged hearts, stents placed, depression, sexual dysfunction. Everyone's got gyno, enlarged prostates. And I'm not going to go into the heavy duty kidney failure. I got the kidney. I haven't seen any guy in kidney failure come in for probably 4 or 5 months. But 4 or 5 months ago, I had a whole rash of, it's kind of things come in like cycles, and no pun intended, cycles. But I mean, so again, guys are coming in because they want to check out their labs. They want to ask questions, and I've opened it wide open where ethically they can come in and tell me anything they want, as long as you don't want to kill someone or kill yourself. But it's not funny. I mean, they're of course it's funny. I mean, you can laugh at that. I mean, they can come and say, if you're on heroin, if you're depressed, if you're smoking, or if you feel you're depressed or you're transgender. Again, all these things you can go to doctors on. Now you're able to go to a doctor, and not just me, but I opened it. I started this. You can go to a doctor and you can say, hey, look, doc, I've been on these steroids for a couple of years and I'm really concerned and I'd like to get help. And I'd like to talk about my blood cells, my blood pressure. Can you get an echo? Can you get an EKG, calcium score? Can you look at my kidneys, and can you please really care for me, doc, and really, try to give me some really support. And I want to get off these and maybe transition to testosterone.
Yeah.
And I'm nothing more. This is all I do. I do the same thing every day, Ron.
Okay, well, this is a great transition to this week's topic, which Dr. Cutter just did a lengthier video on his YouTube channel, Anabolic Doc. Do T boosters cause low T? That's a hell of a quandary right there. Something that you're taking to boost your testosterone can eventually crash your testosterone, it sounds like. So where do we begin? First of all, Doc, you made a distinction between test boosters and prohormones, and it's crazy that there's still prohormones you can get, because they were outlawed years and years ago, but supplement manufacturers are great at going
so are
steroids over and loopholes. Yeah. Do you, in your practice, do you still deal with people who are taking prohormones?
So Ron, listen. This video came out, guys, and it's less than 24 hours old, and we're getting a lot of traction and views, and its comments are great. One guy did threaten to kill me, which was awesome. It's on there. Check that out for the drama. It says, "Doc, you're gonna die."
Well, I think he means you're gonna die eventually.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I didn't say I'm gonna come kill you, right?
It seems like you're shaking my head, I guess. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I guess.
I think you misread the intent there, the tone. I think you meant to say, Doc, and then quote, "You're gonna die," like you're telling everyone they're gonna die.
Oh.
Like you're an alarmist. You're telling everyone everything's deadly and dangerous.
Okay.
That's what I got from it.
My manager said the same thing. She goes, maybe he just says like you're gonna die, or you said you're gonna die. So I appreciate it. They're kind of taking my drama down, which I want some drama. So my life's getting too boring up here.
Yeah.
So the deal is this, Ron. I did the video because my nurse, Wendy, who's taking all these calls, she gets like 20 calls a day. I swear it's crazy. The last couple of weeks, she's gotten tons of calls on all these young guys, young, like 20s, early 20s, and they're on test. They say to her, now, because Wendy's a cardiac nurse that I asked her to come work for me because she's just awesome, but she's actually a real nurse in the hospital, cardiothoracic, she puts the stents in. She's a cardiac nurse. So she's interested in this stuff, and she's working for us for years. So indirectly, now she's full-time. And she says, Doc, these guys, I can't get them off the phone. They keep telling me about test boosters. And then other times, now she's learning all the lingo now, and they talk about pHs, and they say test boosters and pHs, and so they're using it interchangeably. And then when she gets into it a little bit, she's like, well, what happened? Well, how do you feel? And they've been saying no concentration. So they're talking about mental stuff like depression, and then gynecomastia. They all talk about gyno. So like I did the video, but I did break it down. Test boosters are those natural things that everyone's putting together. And then you have the pHs. But I did a video together because these guys are using, and they tell her, I'm not on steroids, I'm not on steroids, I'm not on steroids. So that's it, Ron. That's where it came from. This is real in the streets, calling the anabolic metabolic doc's office and just talking to my nurse and just like she can't get off the phone. She feels so bad for them. Most of the guys end up not doing a consult because they have to go back online. They have to we get 20 calls a day. Maybe I get 1 or 2 consults a day. I mean, that's a lot. I'm overloaded. 1 or 2 a day. I've been doing this for 10 years. I love 1 or 2 a day. I can't even keep up.
Well,
That's why I'm getting a doctor.
You spend a good amount of time with these first-time consults, too.
My first visit with a guy to do a standard history and physical will go up to 2 hours.
Wow. Jeez.
Every single, I'm doing 1 a day right now. I do 1 a day. I love it. And the rest of my day, I'm managing my patients that are under my care. You guys who are my patients. I know a couple of guys that love me on this. Rock on. I'm ready. I got my staff, and we're doing it. So, but who cares? But Ron, we did the video because Wendy's like, you gotta do a video. She's like the phone. You gotta do a video on test boosters. Man, what are test boosters, Doc? What are pHs? Well, let me tell you what it is. So there's the video.
So, okay, I would expect to hear your test levels crashing and going through all the withdrawal symptoms. Your pseudo ASIH. I don't know if you want to, I don't think they have it to the extent of like what a chronic steroid user would if they went cold turkey, but I would expect that from prohormone use because prohormones are steroids. They're oral steroids that were never, they're off the grid as far as they're not on the list of substances. That makes sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me why these natural testosterone boosters, and you broke it down in your video, the most common ingredients are tribulus, fenugreek, DHEA, ashwagandha, polypropylene, along jack, and dopamine. I mean, they all seem, like almost medicinal herbs. These things like, they probably got them from like tiger balls or, boar tusks or something 5,000 years ago. It doesn't seem to me like they would be either effective enough to really raise your test significantly, and B, certainly not effective enough in that regard to cause a big crash after. What, you have been seeing that?
Well, so here's the thing, Ron. What a good point. So again, the video is to bring attention to it's really a combination of both. So Wendy's not asking, are you just talking about test boosters, or are you guys on test boosters and then maybe you're actually going on some pHs? So it seems like this class of guy, of patient or potential, guy in the streets that they kind of use them interchangeably. Now, I agree, Ron, I agree. Now, from my own experience over 10 years of taking, several thousand histories on men using steroids and these agents, there are guys that come in that are like, Doc, I've not used steroids. I'm here because I don't feel good and I want to check my T. And I say, what have you been on? And they will check. When they talk about those classic test boosters, they're herbs and plants.
Yeah.
Here's what they say. Doc, they work, but they don't work. They don't do shit for you, Doc. I mean, Ron, I'm being honest.
When they say they work, what do they mean?
So, Ron, first of all, it seems like when they start them at the beginning, we don't know placebo. There are studies, and I don't know, pick one, fenugreek, or tribulus. Tribulus, the first one, tribulus, and they combine all the stuff. It's a shit show because the best formulation now has 5 of the top. I mean, so and if the one batch works, I mean, the quality control is going to be a problem. So tribulus increases definitely your testosterone by manipulating and increasing your pituitary hypothalamus by LH and FSH. I don't know. I'm no scientific expert on this stuff. I'm the anabolic doc. I take care of you when you're a mess from steroids. I'm the expert on that because I'm an internal medicine doctor. So do these things? The studies show. When I did my research, I want to be very clear that these are the mechanisms. And for that one, so it does work a little bit, but when no one's crashing off of test boosters, Ron. You're right. So
when they say increase, technically a 0.5%, a 0.5% increase is an increase.
Right.
You're not going to notice shit.
And Ron, and these guys, these studies they're not, again, I'm not putting anything down, but if you're an expert scientist or a clinician or you're anyone who just understands how to read clinical studies statistically, no one's going to argue me. The statistical significance and the accuracy and reliability, reproducibility, that you can reproduce it over, like, let's do this show this, let's a scientific study that's excellent is reproducible.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, no one's going to argue me when I say any one of these, there's no reproducible, accurate, and really strongly supported. None. But it does work. It does work. It increases. But in the end, not one patient I've ever seen, after being the anabolic doc for over 10 years and seeing thousands of men, not one guy's ever told me, hey, I started it. It worked. I feel great. And I'm still on it 3 years later. Not one. No, but seriously, Ron. But I guess the population of guys that comes to see me is going to be biased because, by definition, they come to see me because they're not feeling good. So is it something else, or is that stuff not working?
So test boosters, they don't really raise your chest that much, and as far as we know, they're not capable of actually crashing your chest levels.
No.
They don't cause your own body to stop producing testosterone.
But but the thing is this: if you take any agent, I said this many years ago, any agent, Tribulus, if you take, say you take, super Tribulus or a ton of this stuff, and it actually does increase your LH and FSH, who cares? And it's like taking LH and FSH. When you come off the agent, or when the agent becomes down-regulated, right? You know that, the sensitivity, the regulation and receptors and all that jazz, which is really true. That's good science. You're going to get to a point where either A, it's going to lose the effect, you're going to become tolerant to it, or it's just not going to work anymore for the clinical effect. Now, that's the problem, why those things will work initially, and then no one knows if it's a little placebo effect and so on. No one's benching big money. No one's benching huge and getting swole on Tribulus. It's not. It just. But if you're a 20, first of all, and Ron, who's calling? They're 25. Who the hell needs to boost their testosterone at 25?
Kidding me? It's like
that's why I did
video. Out your pores when you're 25.
So yeah, out of your earballs. So it's like, so what 20? So they're calling because there's something else going on, and they're masking. And again, these are not like guys that want to be a pro. These guys, and again, I'm not putting anyone down. If you saw the guys on my couch throughout the day, from some of the top biggest guys in the world, powerlifting, strongman, and bodybuilders in my place, super famous, to the average guy, just an average big muscle head, like guys like me and you, Ron, you're the famous guy, to a guy on the couch that my staff, no one makes fun of him, but they do go in the back and they go, wow, Doc, this guy, he's on all these steroids. We could see his labs and we see his intake and all this, but boy, he must be one of those non-responders because he's this big. So Ron, it's true.
They say, Doc, did he lift, bro?
So that's the shirt. We give out those shirts. I mean, it's Ron. This is so beyond an epidemic. If an epidemic you have to have because people care. No one really gives a shit about men on steroids, so you can't really be an epidemic yet.
So
but there is millions.
These guys calling up and they're saying test boosters are giving me these problems and prohormones, but it's really just the prohormones.
I think
they think it's both.
So and again, it's like, it's not just clickbait. I didn't put that thing on for clickbait, but I didn't want to do test boosters and then prohormones because they tell Wendy, and I asked her, I interviewed her very closely. What are they saying? Is one guy about test booster and the next guy prohormone? She said no, they're just interchangeably. It seems like they're just, some guys it seems like she can't tease out and I test boosters and then pHs. And then, back to the boosters, they don't work, and then but what it's true that the test boosters, first of all, some of the test boosters will have pHs actually just be a pH.
Yeah. Well, if they're working, if they're effective in giving you those results, there's something in there that's not on the labels.
And you know that, I don't care saying the names. Gaspari, his gear, 2005, I mean, like, I love it. I mean, come on, dude, it's true. I mean, like, that stuff was I did it. It what was it called again?
The product was called Halidrol 50.
Ron, I was like, holy, this is like, I was benching huge on that stuff.
Let me tell a very, very quick story. I worked the Gasparic booth at the Arnold Classic in 2006. Halidrol had been off the market for, I think, at least a year at that point, I want to say. But we had, just from people coming up to me and people around me, at least 300, 400, 500 inquiries over the weekend. Hey, you guys got any of that Halidrol 50 in the back? Give me some of that. And I'm like, no, man, we don't sell that anymore. That's because it turned out to be Turinabol, some Turkish oil that's very, very similar to Anabolic, I guess. Unfortunately. But damn,
So, and I know it's a gray area. We don't have to get crazy. I remember that was 2005. I remember because a buddy of mine opened a gym up called TNT Muscle Fit. It was just old school, gnarly. He failed, of course, because he could never get a muscle heads to pay $10 a month, right? so or $30 a month.
Right.
Planet Fitness back then just stole the business. And you find these muscle heads like, can you please just pay like $45 a month for an old school gym with a bunch of muscle heads? And, oh yeah, I'll do it. And they do those direct deposit, what those called into the bank, and they actually go belly up.
That's so, yeah.
It's just how it goes. But I remember that. I remember seeing it up on his thing. He sold it. This was in 2005 though, so maybe it was a late supply or something.
No, I think 2000. It was like their top selling product by a huge margin. And I believe 2005 was the year. I think they
in a square box. It was a rectangular box with blue
round tablets, speckled. They were beautiful. They were almost like green robin eggs.
Beautiful.
I love them because I was lucky enough to get just after it had been discontinued, the FDA shut them down. Someone that was with the company at that time sent me a little bottle full of like 100 of them. I was like, wow, thank you. Well, yeah, they were. I believe it was 05. They sold like gangbusters. Crazy.
So it's like so the guys that are doing PA, because that's now you could buy that on the gray black market like steroids, Superdraw and Aldrol, A1, the ones I talked about in the video, and those guys definitely come in all the time too. But they know it's a steroid, so you know what most of those guys, because the gynecomastia kicks in, and you don't really get the gyno from the test boosters. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
Because test boosters actually, Ron, really don't work.
I had I won't say who, somebody I know who was in their 50s was upset. He thought somebody had sold him some fake testosterone. This was a few weeks ago. He called me up because we both know the guy who sold it to him. Like, that mother effer, he cheated me. I said, hold on. I said, he's like, yeah, I think it was fake. I said, why do you think it was fake? I said, have you lost any size or strength? He's like, no. I said, how's your sex drive? He says, oh, it's great. And he says, and I broke out in acting. This guy's like 55, 56 years old. I said, trust me, that was test. You didn't get vegetable oil. That was genuine test. Yeah.
Why would he even? I mean, it's amazing, Ron. What a subculture where it's just up to the top of the surface, but it's underground. And men, hey, was the GH good? Yeah, it was because I felt my wrists.
That's exactly what. So that was just this week. A buddy of mine goes, he showed me his GH. He goes, this is definitely real. I got carpal tunnel syndrome after 4 days. Oh, that's
Ron, doctors who hear this stuff and see this, they just go like, what?
Yeah.
They have no idea. There's a whole world out.
It's in my hair. This shit is great.
I feel my nipples burning. Game on.
I'm going to say the product name because the commercial annoys the shit out of me. Nugenics. That is, I bet they're making $1 billion a year off this product. It's a test booster that commercials on every channel.
Yeah.
And they use a retired Major League Baseball player.
Yep.
Who's looks like a little chubbier version of Ronnie Coleman. I mean, he's enormous. He looks like he's about 6'5", 320 pounds, just jacked. And they show him working out, and all these women come up to him in the health club and go, "Oh, Warren, what are you? Aren't you so and so?" "Oh, I'm using Nugenics." I'm thinking, this guy probably had 10 times the amount of regular testosterone production in his body when he was in his
marketing, bro. You know where you been.
I should let it. I don't lie about it.
I mean, but it is funny. So test boosters, guys, they really don't work. But if you're like a young guys, why would you boost your testosterone when you're young? If you're old, and don't be calling me old, but if you're 40 or 50 and you want to boost your testosterone, I'm just telling you that. And I'd like to hear some comments on people coming out saying, again, don't rip us apart. Just tell us if you're older, over 40, and you're on a test booster and you're sustained on it and you're feeling great on it a year, more than 8 months, more than a year, and you're like, I've checked the levels, they're up, they stay up, and game on.
Drop a comment here because
I want to hear. Now, the pHs, those are just there. That's a game. That's just like an air draw, a D-ball. So that's just, but it is interesting. So that's what we found, Ron, and it's just amazing. So I had to do a video. Wait till you see my next video. I'll give you a little tip. We're blowing up. I'm gonna go into it because I did some affiliate marketing with with a guy over in the UK on some of the stuff, and I was a great response. They responded really well. Anabolic steroids, CrossFit women, boom.
Oh yeah.
Because they're all getting busted. Do you know? You heard about this?
I haven't, but I watched the CrossFit games, and these women are jacked.
Jacked. And it's like
they have traps and belts and backs like a heavyweight male bodybuilder.
So they have their abs are like unreal. I mean, but it's funny that these chicks, so what happened, I guess, is in some of the CrossFit worlds, they're getting busted when they do properly drug test them. And then there's some of these big there's like some Martha Stewarts in the world, if you will, that are like at these, local, there's CrossFits everywhere.
Right. Oh, yeah.
From little small ones in like, in middle, Wisconsin to like, to Boston. There's huge where you are.
Just about with a 20-mile race, and there's 20 CrossFit gyms.
20. So what's happening is, and I think it's been happening for a while, there's an awareness because a lot of the regular housewives are coming into this because it's a team and it's a family thing, which is great. Which is I think CrossFit's not good because they overtrain and they're all blown out. But hey, look, it's a multiple billion-dollar business. Somebody's got to be working. But the truth is, we caught you because all the housewives are on Winstrol and Anabolic.
It's like, my wife's been doing. I know a lot more about CrossFit than most meatheads do because my wife's been doing it for 10 years. So she's belonged to a few of the bigger gyms in the Boston area. She's competed in some local meets. We've been to the Northeast Regionals.
Wow.
I know. I used to write the column in Fitness Arts for Men. Within these, we used to have a publication. Rich Dronick Jr. won it 3 or 4 years in a row. So I'm pretty familiar with CrossFit. And I remember when I suggested to my wife, I said, they're all these guys and girls at the games, which is the World Championships. So they're on shit, right? She goes, no, they can't be. I go, why is that? Why would you think that? She goes, well, because you get too pumped and you wouldn't be able to do the workout time. So I guess every football player and every professional athlete wouldn't be able to use steroids because they get too pumped.
Maybe they're not using insulin in CrossFit, but they're using a lot of steroids. That's for damn sure.
Anytime you have a professional sport with big money purses, and the last time I checked, the men's winner got the guy that wins it. He gets $500,000.
Wow,
which is more than Mr. Olympia gets 400.
Are you kidding?
And Mr. Olympia, that's very recent. That's only been the past couple of years. For many years, the Olympia was like around 150, and I think 200 was like a big deal when it got up to a $200,000 prize for the winner. But CrossFit for the last at least 6-7 years has spent $500,000 for the men's winner and the women's winner for the fittest.
Is CrossFit still going up in popularity?
I don't know if it's peaked. I don't know. I don't see any gyms shutting down. I mean, I'm aware of all the ones in my area, and they do pretty well. And let me tell you, it's not for the poor. CrossFit is not.
No, I know.
The gyms are minimum. You're never going to find one that's less than $100 a month. And some of if you're in a big city like, if you're in like Manhattan or downtown Boston, because of the rent, you're paying $200 and up a month.
Wow.
For unlimited access to the classes, which you do math. That's beyond the financial scope of your typical meathead.
But you know what though, Ron? So I'm going to do a video about CrossFit and some. I mean, I've taken care. They've been coming in.
Yeah.
They've been coming in over the years, and then again, Wendy's was got a lot of calls from women from CrossFit. We're never going to mention names, and they're not the top girls, but they're like housewives that are on steroids. And I'm going to do a video about what they're on and what's going on, and it's cool. It's just, hey, look, you and I are really free media. We're just open, free. There's no BS media, right? That's what we're doing, right?
I look forward to that because I have a slight fascination with CrossFit women. I kind of like that look.
Yeah, well, they're great. I mean, we're never going to take away. CrossFit's insanely hard.
Oh, dude.
We don't do it. We're powerlifting. I mean, well, you're a
have you ever tried a CrossFit workout?
Never.
I didn't make it through. I tried it.
Yeah.
I did. I tried one, didn't make it through, and then this Memorial Day, which is up for it. On the big holidays, they have like big group workouts. It's always a group workout, but they invite everyone to come, and they have these hero ones, and they're all named after typically soldiers that died fighting in Iraq or Afghanistan.
Wow.
And one of the most famous ones is called Merv. It's named after a soldier named Merv. It was like his favorite workout. It was brutal, and I tore my bicep a little bit doing a stupid workout on chin-ups. So yeah, it's not for me.
No, but it's brutal. It's brutal, and we're not putting them down. We're just bringing it to light, which is very interesting. That a lot of these women are on steroid, and I'll tell you when I do my video, I'll tell you what they're on. It's really interesting.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
We don't always preview. We very rarely tease it.
It's coming out.
As he's going on, Doc. Oh boy. Okay, well, this has been a good one. So the conclusions we've drawn are test boosters do not cause low T because they don't really raise your T that much. Prohormones, on the other hand, they will definitely jack up your T, and they will send your T in the shitter once you stop taking them.
Yep.
So that's your take-home message for today, boys and girls.
I do love it, Ron. That was a good one.
All right. Well, everybody, once again, let me remind you, get the book, America on Steroids, The Time to Heal, Metabolicdoc.com, Anabolic.com, Amazon.com, and also you got to go to the YouTube channel, Anabolic Doc. Great new video content coming every single week. Thank you, Dr. O'Connor, for doing what you do. And this is our last show before Christmas. So, Merry Christmas to you and yours, Doc, and to all you guys and girls out there.
Thank you so much, Ron. Merry Christmas to you, buddy.
All right, we'll talk to you all next time.